All right, I posted something the other day asking how people handle things like maintenance windows, or how to modify an app in PowerApp so that it was unavailable to users while you were performing updates or making changes to it. And there were a number of responses, which were all valid responses, but all of them also involved modifying the app itself each time service was required. So if someone reported a bug, you have to go into the app, make that change, save it, publish it, and then when you're done making the repairs, you would have to undo that change, save it, publish it. And what I was looking for was really something that would be a system where you could essentially establish a service window, and during that service window, users going to the app would be prevented from doing anything in the app. And effectively, I was able to come up with a solution for that. So I just wanted to kind of walk you through what that looks like. Okay, so first we have a list here in the SharePoint site. Well, to give you an overview, this is a leave request system that I've been working on, tweaking, etc. Um, and I was just using it as a test case for this. So what I did was I created another list in that SharePoint site called service log. So when we take a look at um, that list has, I renamed the title column to service summary. It has a choice column for the type of service, whether it's an update or bug fix. It has a multi-line text field for the details, so whatever work is being performed, and then service start, service end. So these are sort of what's going to drive the behavior of preventing users from using the app. So if I take this one and I open it up and just edit the start and end time to today, and it is 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time. And let's say the service is, I'm going to be done performing this maintenance at 11 o'clock a.m. So basically now between 10:50 a.m. and 11 o'clock a.m. today, on this date, um, users will not be able to, anyone who's opening the app, and we'll see that in a moment because I have it embedded on the homepage of this site, it will be directed to a screen explaining that this app is currently unavailable. See the details below. So then there's the title that I provided, the description or the details, and then the planned service window. So people will know, okay, it's unavailable from 10:50. It should be available after 11 a.m. Now the one downside is that if someone is sitting on this page and wants to use the app, after, if they're sitting here while you know, from now until after 11 a.m., this won't automatically update. They essentially need to refresh the page to get that message to clear. That's kind of in my mind, kind of a minor issue. If it were an app that were being serviced or maintained all the time, that could be an annoyance, and there might be a need to build in some kind of a timer, maybe every 2 minutes in the app that runs to check to see if it's still in the service window or not. But let me just show you real quick how I went about building that. Okay, so I'm just waiting for that app to load right now. And this is the edit experience on that leave approval application. All right, so basically what I used the new container. It's still preview, but I've been using this a lot because prior to container, I used the grouping function a lot. And then when they introduced the container function, that kind of achieved the same results that I was looking for out of using the grouping control. The one downside is that you cannot put a form inside of a container, at least not yet. But anyway, I have one container here which covers the entire screen, and basically within that there's a background, which is just uh, a button that I put there to get the rounded corners. Um, I have the header, which is that sorry it's unavailable, and then the service summary and service window are just labels. The text for the service summary is basically presenting data from a collection. So I'm going to jump over now to the on select formula here. I'm also using the enhanced toolbar or enhanced formula bar, which is really nice. So essentially the first thing that happens when you launch the application is it's building a collection from that service log. Now, um, essentially this I'm putting it into a collection so that I can do this check here, which is to say filter the service log to events or items where the service start is greater than less than or equal to now, and service end is greater than or equal to now. So essentially when uh, look at the current time, is there a service entry that is occurring at this moment? If so, put it into uh, or filter that and put it into this service log collection. And if that is not empty, so if there are service logs that are, or there are service events currently occurring, then set this variable var app closed to true. Otherwise, set it to false. And then I collapse that back and go over to our app closed message here and look at the visible. That's simply set to var app closed. So essentially, person loads the app checks the service log to see if there is or that service log list to see if there is a current service entry. If so, presents this message. Otherwise, message doesn't show. The one downside is that there is that sort of split second before the message appears. That's going to vary. The length of that is actually going to vary depending on a lot of factors like connection speed, etc. So, not sure how to get around that, but people probably won't be able to do anything in the app substantive during that brief delay. So for me, this solves the problem, and essentially now that it is 11 a.m., if I refresh this page, no message, and I can go about using my app. So that's basically what I wanted to show. Hopefully this is useful to folks. If it's, if you have one thing that I'm constantly looking at ways to convince the developers that I work with that Power Apps and Flow are enterprise capable applications, and this is one of those features in a lot of high-end applications where you need a way to specify that the system will be down for maintenance from this point to this point in an automated way of directing users appropriately and managing the application so that you're not constantly going in to make modifications to the app itself to close it or make it open, and using a separate list for that purpose. I'm going to see how well it works for me over the next couple of weeks because I have a lot of apps I'm going to be bringing down for maintenance and updates. So I'll come back, and if I find a better way, I will let you all know. But so far, this has been working pretty well for me.